shooting his black wife. Murder trial of Jordan McCoy Hemming, a former U.S. Army service member accused of fatally shooting his wife, 32-year-old Ashley Henning, at her birthday party, ended with a manslaughter conviction, triggering an emotional outcry from the victim's family members in court. A Kentucky jury found Henning guilty of first-degree felony manslaughter for the shooting death of his wife, Jordan. Shot his wife multiple times during a birthday party at the couple's home, June 26, 2023, the News Enterprise reported. Witnesses now told investigators that right before the shooting, they started leaving the party because the couple began to argue. Neighbors even removed the Hennings' children from the home as the fight intensified. Multiple surveillance cameras from inside the home caught the fatal encounter. So how long does that happen where the murder's actually caught? They actually can see exactly what went down here. Multiple surveillance cameras inside that home. One camera recorded Jordan appearing enraged when he grabbed his handgun, went behind a living room wall, and started shooting. Footage also showed him reloading his firearm once between shots, then spitting on Ashley's corpse when he was finished. Prosecutors say he shot Ashley 5 times. Now, you said manslaughter, right? You reloaded. It's on camera. And he fled the home. Oh, he fled too, which is an indication. Fled the home before authorities arrived, but they found him a mile away, making numerous utterances, apologizing for hurting his wife. The arrest citation read he was charged with murder, domestic violence, a Class A felony in Kentucky. Now, during the trial, defense attorney said Jordan's actions were the result of a mental breakdown triggered by years of physical and verbal abuse committed by Ashley. Prosecutors disputed the claim, as well as friends of Ashley, who testified that Jordan was a paranoid prepper who had a hit list in the event of an apocalypse. Prosecutors argued that all the evidence proving Jordan committed the crime with purpose and intent is too strong to deny. If what you saw in that video is not evil and malicious, I don't know what is. Assistant Commonwealth Attorney Eric Carr said, "This is one of the most cold-blooded acts of violence possible." So it's set up for the jury now. Let's see. They got the whole thing. Must have been pretty traumatic to watch this, right? They saw it. After 4 hours of deliberating, the jury returned their verdict, declaring Henning guilty of manslaughter, recommending a 20-year prison sentence. Had Henning been convicted of murder, he could have faced between 20 and 50 years or life in prison. His sentencing date has not yet been set. After the jury read off their verdict, Ashley's cousin, U.S. Marine Chief Warrant Officer John Williams, directly addressed jury members, calling them cowards. "And this is the justice that America gives me? Unspeakable, unthinkable, it's disgusting," Williams said with tears in his eyes. Every single one of you is coward." I don't blame this ranking warrant officer, Marine Chief Warrant Officer. It is sick. These are the details. The case has been adjudicated.
What's your emergency? The dispatcher's voice is calm, but there's tension in the air. The HR manager on the other end is trying to explain. No one has heard from Janine Chapman in days. She hasn't called in. She hasn't answered messages. Something is wrong. And when the officers arrive at her apartment, that fear turns into reality. Blood, overturned furniture, the unmistakable smell of death. Janine was gone. And the man responsible? 200 miles away in a hospital, calmly telling doctors that he had gotten into a fight with his wife. This isn't just a tragic story. It's a case that exposes the deep failures in the system meant to protect victims of domestic violence. Today, we're exposing the warning signs that were missed, the system failures that left Janine vulnerable, and the hard truths about how cases like this keep happening.
To 72 years in prison for brutally murdering his wife. James Michael Patrick gave little reaction when he learned his fate for killing Janine Chapman. Chapman was an accomplished woman who once worked for the Duchess of York. Today, her loved ones minced no words, sharing what they think of Patrick. Fox 4's David Santandri was in court today, and David's live in Dallas outside the courthouse tonight. David?
Yeah, Steve, it's a 72-year sentence for that brutal murder, and today the victim's family was telling this now convicted killer face-to-face exactly how they feel about him.
I will never forgive you.
For nearly a year and a half, Shireen Chapman has been working to find words to say to James Michael Patrick, the man who showed no emotion, Friday, as he was sentenced to 72 years in prison for murdering his wife, Janine Chapman, Shireen's sister.
May you endure a life of perpetual fear and decay, confined to an existence devoid of solace or redemption. I want you to suffer every day for the rest of your life. And I want him to hear those words forever.
In 2023, Janine Chapman took time away from work for domestic issues. But when her office did not hear from her for 5 days, police were called for a welfare check. Chapman was found dead in her downtown Dallas apartment. Her family says her body was unrecognizable. Patrick was arrested at a hospital in Austin after he was admitted for treatment to an adverse reaction to an unknown substance he took. While in the hospital, he told doctors he got a bloody and black fingernail while fighting with his wife.
You showed no ounce of remorse or emotion towards my sister during the entire trial.
Janine Chapman previously worked as a personal assistant to Sarah Ferguson, the Duchess of York, for 5 years after college. The Duchess shared her condolences on social media after the murder and has followed up with Chapman's mother in the aftermath.
She called me 3 times. We talked, and she gave me her sympathies, and she told me if there's anything she can do, I must let her know.
Family members spent an hour delivering victim impact statements to Patrick.
You're a monster, and I will sleep well at night, knowing that you are where you belong, in prison, away from society.
One day, a CO will open your cell, and you will be dead on your metal stone bed. And that will be the end of your story.
Now that they've expressed their pain to the killer, they want to share a message with the world.
To people out there, if they see any sign or indication that a loved one is being impacted by a toxic or abusive relationship, do not take the signs lightly.
Now, it's quite common after a jury verdict for jurors to leave and go home. Their job is done, but that didn't happen today. After the verdict, there was the sentencing phase, and that took several hours, and a lot of these jurors actually stuck around throughout that process, some of them in tears in the courtroom during those victim impact statements. They went up to the family members of the victim, they gave hugs, and afterwards, speaking with the victim's family in the hallway, they were telling me they felt these jurors really empathized with them and felt the pain of that loss they're experiencing.
It's a story that we've been following since it first broke. An officer accused in the murder of an Oxford woman making his first court appearance today. Our cameras were there as Matthew Kinney entered the courthouse. He is charged in the death of Dominique Clayton after she was found dead at her home on Suncrest Drive. But it's what happened inside of the courtroom today that left the victim's family visibly upset. Family members say they were emotional with what they say was the judge's light-hearted approach to the proceedings, and that judge left open the possibility that a bond could be set next week.
We don't want a bond. Matthew Kinney committed murder, and we do not want him out. We support them, and we will stand by them, and we will be direct that we do not support a bond.
And now, With a bond possibly on the table for a man accused of murder, family and friends of Clayton are left with more questions than answers. WTVA's Evan Hensley sat down with Clayton's family today. He is joining us live in Oxford with their reaction.
And it all happened here behind me at the Lafayette County Courthouse, where Kenny appeared before a judge. His bond hearing was delayed to provide more time to discuss bond. But after that hearing, the family of the victim, Dominique Clayton, shared their frustrations.
This is a joke. Stop. We're going to handle this. I'm going to do something with this.
Bessie Clayton, the mother of Dominique, spoke with the media about the decision to delay bond and questioned why Kenny should have a say.
They should discuss with him what his bond should be. We need help in Oxford. We need intervention in Oxford.
Many members of Clayton's family came to share what they knew about Clayton and Kenny's relationship.
Yeah, so we tried to protect her, but this time he just caught us slipping. Because we thought, it was going to... She said he ain't going to do nothing.
If he's going to Deletions buying her cars in public with her, everybody knows. Not only one person knew, it wasn't just two, everybody knew.
And during this chaos, the attorney for Kenny said this is all standard procedure.
That's how most cases are handled. This case is no different, unfortunately, than any other case when it comes to the constitutional rights of the defendant.